All right, hello everyone. My name's Cameron, and today I'm doing my future project on the future of ISIS in Pakistan. Let's get started. First of all, for those who aren't very familiar with ISIS, or in other words, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, is a terrorist organization that we can trace back to Al Qaeda, as you can read over here. Uh, Abu Ayyub al-Maziri. I probably mispronounced that, but took the after Al Qaeda was defeated, took the remainder or a portion of them and named it ISI, or more commonly, as we know, as ISIS. They do actually have quite a few different names. There's a lot of speculation to why they have so many different acronyms and names to their group. Some people say it's confusion in the ranks, whether they should what they should be named, or to confuse the opposition per se. Again, what makes ISIS so different from many other terrorist cells? If we read the quote over here from history, it comes out as they generally carry out many similar heinous and awful acts of villainy. We can talk about the violence, executions, rapes, beheadings, crucifixions. Again, it's all there. But what really makes them stand out is the fact of how they use technology to spread it out as far and as fast as possible to get people talking about them and to spread fear. That's ISIS in a nutshell. But let's talk about ISIS and its effects on Pakistan. With Pakistan, uh, they have had past interactions with them. Mostly, I'd say indirectly, but sometimes directly with a few small terror cells. But as you can see here from the quote, it has created ideological space for itself by creating deep divisions between the existing militant Islamic groups like the JUD, Sifaf Sahad, Pakistan, and the TTP. All of these are militant Islamic groups that may have extremists in them. So again, their extreme acts promote others to commit even further heinous extreme acts, and that is where the real danger in ISIS lies in Pakistan, at least in the past. So I'd like to focus more abroad around the world, and let's switch over to Sweden here. Today I have a friend of mine from Sweden who is a Swedish citizen, and I'm going to interview him today. Hello, how are you doing today, Debbie?
Why, hello there, Cameron. I'm doing good. And you?
Oh, fantastic. I'm doing great as well. Thanks for coming and accepting this interview at this time. I would like to ask you a few questions, if that will be all right with you.
Oh, that is all right with me.
All right. Then, my first question for you in regards to ISIS in Sweden is what is your thoughts on ISIS and how has it affected your country?
Well, I myself don't like ISIS, or as it's called in Sweden, the Islamic State,
Mm-hmm.
IS, because of global terror as well as the creation of pretty many wars. But we in Sweden don't face that many difficulties in our day-to-day lives when it comes to this. The worst thing that has happened because of ISIS is a dramatic increase in refugees, which has both skyrocketed our population to an unhealthy degree, which hurts the populace because the government can't tell you that you have to give up your house to 3 other refugees' families without any form of compensation, or live with 2 other forms of families, or to other refugee families. And while this has hurt both our population, it has also hurt our housing state and our jobs because, as I said before, we have too many people. We don't have enough jobs, even if we need people to build new apartments and housing complexes. We have more than enough people to actually do that. So it has become a problem with unemployment as well as other stuff like the refugees can come in here in Sweden, and before they come here, they get either false forms of identification cards, or they don't come in with any, and we don't have any form to actually sort them out. So they can come in here, be 25 and up, and say they are 14 and get free education, which is one of the biggest reasons why they actually go to Sweden for refuge.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. So it sounds like just to understand, make sure I understood what's going on is due to ISIS terrorism around the world, it has sent many refugees over to your country's way, displacing your population and really disrupting your livelihoods with false forms of identification, whether it be through education, jobs, unemployment, or giving up your housing.
Precisely.
Wow, that is a pretty detrimental effect that I imagine not a lot of people know that has been caused indirectly or actually directly by ISIS. I do have
Yeah.
another question for you. Have you noticed any of this personally in your life, or seen some of your friends affected by this? Do you think that this will continue, or do you think this will continue to affect your country in the future?
I haven't had any friends,
Mm-hmm.
or it hasn't happened to me personally, or neither my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I've heard it in rumors way, or from mouth to mouth, which may not be really accurate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a pretty strong rumor. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had my friend's neighbor. This has actually happened to my friend's neighbor, so I actually know that it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to look into the future of this specifically in my country, Sweden, then I don't really know. It will probably continue unless we get some stronger policies against refugee intake.
Mm-hmm.
Because while here in Europe, the biggest country to actually take in refugees is Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But Sweden is like second or third biggest. We take in about 30% of all the refugees, while Germany takes in 40, I think.
Oh wow.
So I'm not going to sound as a Swedish extremist or something like that, but I think we need a bigger or higher form of national control in Sweden, at least within the refugee controlling
Mm-hmm.
or controlment.
That definitely sounds like the Swedish people would need that, and I'm personally shocked to hear that. But hopefully, that your country and your government, through the aid of your people's voice, will be able to deal with that problem as swiftly as possible. Thank you for your time doing this interview with me. I appreciate your comments and your honesty.
You're welcome. Just one comment about that last part you actually said there.
Yes.
We're helping with that we'll do it quickly. Uh, the with what I know really right now, and I'm not that into politics, is that there's only one group of or only one form of party in our political ring that's actually focusing on this, and they will probably not get as many votes as at least I would like,
Mm-hmm.
because they have some good policies, and they have more racist policies than any other form of political group.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like the solution may be a little further away than you would appreciate.
Precisely.
That is unfortunate. Well, let's hope that uh, at least the solution comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me with this interview. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you for letting me be here with you.
No problem. I'll see you around.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye. All right. So that was our interview with our Swedish citizen Devi. And as you can tell, it has an effect around the world, whether it's direct terror or, in other words, destabilizing of populations or disrupting of communities. The effects of ISIS are great. Again, potential futures of ISIS that we've heard of down through reports is even though it should be noted that ISIS has been mostly dismantled due to the US backed Kurdish and Arab militias capturing the vast majority of them. Of course, ideology is hard to silence, so there have been more terror cells that have dug into Southeast Asia to regain strength. Especially during COVID-19, where everyone's locked in their homes, don't have much of a chance to get out and spend their time on social media or on the news or on the internet. ISIS is trying to branch out and do more acts of terror, as we can see here with another report. ISIS-linked gunmen opened fire on a militia convoy in the remote province of Sulu, killed 11 troops. They're still attempting to spread terror, and their increased activity is noted during this time of great turmoil, as their job is to spread terror and their ideology. Again, as a conclusion from what we've heard, not only from our Swedish citizen Devi, but from this demonstration, Pakistan could be in trouble here in the future with ISIS if they don't have more policies that directly impact terror groups. Especially, they could be on the return, more so in their small splinter cells, attempting to stoke up not only more terror amongst their own cells, but potentially other terrorist groups around the nation, not only around the world, but especially in Pakistan. More refugees, more displacement of citizens, and overall causing more terror around the world. Again, this is my potential conclusion for the future of ISIS, hoping that maybe there will be a solution through the people of the world as we continue to strengthen ourselves against this terror. Again, thank you for your time, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.